day, probably the only hour of the week. I've got it for you right now in an amazing array of colors. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous runner. We gave it a quick look earlier, and 200 people shopped for it already and picked it up. The choices are here. When they sell out, they will say goodbye. Nowhere else in America can you pick this up. It's a round. The storylines are open. Are you a Royal Palace fan? 1-800-395-1601. You know what's so amazing about this design? And I'm going to talk to our guest, Dustin, in just a second. Is that with everybody doing whites and grays, now you know what people are doing? I need a pop of color. Yeah, really shocking. And now you're looking for a pop. Well, you've got a pop of color here. And the amazing thing about the watercolor design is it's any room in your home. So in this big, amazing room that we have here at QVC, I'm just going to take another walk and drive our jib operator crazy to bring you to the big guy. 8 by 11. Take a look at this. This is here with very few to go around. The price can only be here. There's an 8 by 11, a 6 by 9, a 5 by 7. I showed you the 4-foot round. You've got the accent rug that's 2 by 3, and then the runner 2, 3 by 7 foot. All right. How many colors? What's the story? Well, here's the value story on it, because this is the big deal. Look at the QVC price. Wait a minute. I gotta tell you, I'll just say this, okay? If you go retail value on this one, you could probably double that thing. Give me a break. This thing, look at that. This big deal for that 8 by 11 is under $1,000 now. It's 5 easy payments of $199. 6 by 9 QVC price. We couldn't even get a retail value on this thing. Is under $600. 5 by 7. There's the round. There you see the savings, and there you see the 5 easy payments, and there you see the opportunity as it knocks for what is your extraordinary big deal. Dustin Moskowitz and his dad Gary have been joining us for decades now here on QVC, and we got Dustin here today. Dustin, hope your dad's doing well, my friend, and hope you're doing well as well.
We're all doing great, Rick. It's fantastic to see you again. And you know what? We are as old at QVC as you are. 27 years for us as well.
That's great. Normally we have these hanging up and it just wows everybody when they click by. We're not doing that today. We're putting them on the ground where they will be. But we have to start with, let's just start with a big overhead shot if we could. Let's start with this pattern. You got to start with the pattern and the colors because it's off the charts. It's amazing, Dustin.
Well, Rick, here we have the 5 by 7 here in my family room. This is the same design my wife and I have had for the last 6 years running, because this particular design was first introduced to QVC customers back in March of 2011.
Wow.
And we ran it for a couple of years, but you know what? Ever since it stopped at about 2013, 2014, and we discontinued it, we have customers saying, please, I didn't get the round rug when it was available. I needed the larger rug for my dining room. I only got the small accent rug for my bathroom or for my kitchen sink. Can you please bring this design back? So it took us a couple of years, but we did do it for one more appearance, and now is the time to grab it. And I can tell you this, Rick, as you said before, people are decorating in grays. Then they start decorating in ivories. Then we decide that blue is the right color. But you know what? With a watercolors design, 61 colors in every single rug.
How many?
Means you don't have 61. So you do not need to worry about what somebody tells you in a magazine is the fashion color for home decor next year or 5 years or 15 or 20 years from now. You have all of those colors right here in the rug.
And you got to realize what's going on here. If you're shopping, what a rarity this is, everybody. What a rarity this is. I have traveled internationally with Dustin and Gary. I've seen Royal Palace rugs being made and the time and energy it takes to dye the wool. I mean, where do you find a wool rug anymore? Where do you even find something like this is one thing. If you do, you pay an absolute fortune for it. And if you do, it wouldn't be this quality. Like normally, if you go to like even a home improvement store, you'll find like 13 colors in a rug, and they're all the same. They're all very, very traditional. And the tufting. What do we mean by tufting and thickness in a rug like this, Dustin?
Well, you know what, Rick, here, I'm going to go down to my little floor camera here, and I'll show you what that tufting means. As you said, you go out to the big box stores and even most of the retailer stores, they use vendors that specialize in machine-made rugs. Now, I'm not knocking machine-made rugs. There's definitely a place for them. There's gorgeous ones out there, but we use hand tufting to make our rugs, and we use 100% wool pile. Almost all machine-made rugs are made with synthetic fibers like nylon or polypropylene, but we use wool, and we hand tough it into the rug. And what does that give us? Well, first of all, it gives us incredible density. Rick, I'm doing this. I set this whole display up just for you to do the rug bend test, because that half-inch thick pile, you don't go down to the backing, you don't see it. So that's the durability of a Royal Palace rug. The denser our rug is, kind of like a digital camera, the more beautiful the picture is going to be, but also the more durable it's going to be. So it's going to be in your home for years to come. And because it's wool, it's naturally liquid repellent, it's naturally stain resistant, it's wearable, it's usable, it feels like silk, but it wears like iron.
But it wears like iron. You're doing the bend test. I'm doing the bend test. I remember when we first did it. And the point of the bend test is you take a rug that isn't as dense, that costs twice as much, and you see the bottom of the rug. You see the backing of the rug. You don't see the backing of the rug with a Royal Palace rug because they're so dense. All those tufts of real wool. The other thing you'll love about Royal Palace is the actual backing. That rugs wear not only from the top down, but from the bottom up. So the quality is here in the back of the rug. People have had their Royal Palace rugs. Here's my question to you. How long have you had your Royal Palace rug? 1-800-395-1601. Go to the phones now. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We've had ours, I think, at least 15. God, we love the style, and there's nothing wrong with the rug. We absolutely love it. The only reason you change is not the quality of the rug, Dustin. It's because you might want to change the style of the rug, which is completely understandable, right? People want to change the decor. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you through these. I'm going to take you through, and then we'll go through the value again. This is the 6x9. I'll go through the big rectangle rugs. You know what? Let me start over here. We'll start our way, and then we'll move up. This is the 5x7. So the 5x7 is here. It's a big deal. It's an incredible buy if you want to pick it up. Give me where that 5x7 might be going, Mr. Moskowitz.
5x7s are perfect for a foyer if you can handle it. Great for a kitchen nook, because usually the kitchen nook is a smaller table. I have the 5x7 here in our family room. Even the 6x9, Rick, which is the next size up, would be too big for this family room for me. And if you've got a smaller dining room where you don't have a table that's got all the leaves in it, you don't really use it all that much, then a 6x9 would work fine. But 5x7 is really your great starting point where you start talking about a room filling rug.
And here comes that 6x9, by the way. 6x9, under $600. By the way, nowhere but QVC. How long have you had your Royal Palace rug? Incredibly dramatic way to change your home. And it all comes back to this unbelievable design. So as you take a look at 61 colors, it's insane. But look at the kinds of colors you're seeing there. So if you want those neutrals, they're there. But these pops of warm colors and bright colors are beautiful. It looks like a Georgia O'Keeffe painting or something. It's so well done. And within it are these striations of different colors of beiges and browns. Like, look at that. There's like 3 different colors. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4 colors within that one petal. 4 colors, 1 petal of that flower. That's a Royal Palace difference. That's the 6x9. Now, here's what I got to let you know. Here comes that 8x11, not 8x10, 8x11. Now, in the 8x11, we've got one choice. This is it. How many remaining in the 8x11, Mr. Producer? That as a QVC big deal? We have for you for $9.99. Just a few remaining now in that 8x11. If you'd like to do it, it's a QVC big deal price. This is the big guy. No fringe anymore, right? The times have changed.
Nope.
But what a room-filling, dramatic piece, my friend.
Yeah, and you can see here that this is not a gigantic dining room table, but nevertheless, if you imagine that you had lots of guests over and you had chairs all the way around, all of those chairs are still going to be on the table when everybody is sitting down for your Halloween parties, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas and Hanukkah. And that's why we say get the largest rug that your room and your wallet can afford, because bigger is always better. Yep. Nobody ever comes back and says, you know what, I got the king-size bed, but I really wish I got queen because, I just like it smaller.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Go for the 8x11.
No, I love what you said. So the chair, Gary always talked about this as well. When you pull out the chair, it's still on the rug. There isn't that miss. And if you want to do it, this is here. So, Mr. Producer, how many in the 8x11 now? Can still be had. About 150 can be had in the 8x11. That's it. This is gone. How long does it take to make that 8x11 rug? How long does this production take?
Yeah, the 8x11 is probably about a 3 to 4 month process.
Wow.
Simply because of the size of it. A 2x3 obviously is a little bit easier to make, maybe 2 months or so, but let's talk about a machine-made rug. Again, I'm not knocking them. This is more of an investment quality rug. A machine-made rug, I could walk into a factory, press a button on a loom, and I'd have a rug by lunchtime.
Right.
It's just not the same way when you're talking about a
and it's not the same
rug
rug. And a
wool.
polypropylene rug, you're going to pay $100 or more for. So this is now this 100% wool rug for 5 easy payments of $19.80. This is here for you. It's the 2x3. You're going to love it. So the big guys, and this is the interesting one. That's the 2x3. This is the way back here is the runner. Here comes the runner, and the runner is here, and the runner is available if you want to get it. This is the 2.3x7 foot runner. It's going to be $229, and can you say like bad traffic area with some stains in the carpet that are not coming out? Perfect for that and so much more, Dustin.
Absolutely. Hardwood floors, if you've got a hallway that have some scuff marks on them, but you don't want to have to redo the entire hardwood floor so it all looks the same, a runner's a great way to protect that. But also at 7 feet long, I just measured this morning, it's the exact length of our king and queen size beds. I'm pretty sure it's the same for like the twins and the doubles. It's really a great runner side piece for both sides of the beds that when you wake up in the morning, this is what you get to sink your toes into, not that old tired carpeting wall to wall that you might have in your home.
And by the way, the round is the final one. The round is here. The round is $239. It's a 4-foot round. This is really fun and really, really versatile for a lot of reasons. You know what I'm blown away by whenever I do these shows? It's been a while since I've done the show with you, my friend, is how heavy they are, man. Lifting these, you don't hold these up for the hour. And that's a good thing because they're heavy, they're thick, they're dense, and that's a shot of the detail. Like, wow, look at the flowers and look at the colors. Look at how beautiful and how bright that will make your home look. The first thing that people are they're going to walk into your home, into that room, and they're going to notice that beautiful rug.
Exactly, Rick. And you know what? The flowers are not seasonal. You know, we enjoy flowers when it's warm out because they're outside, they're blooming, and that's what Mother Nature looks like. In the wintertime, for those of us in the colder areas, we dream about flowers because that means that spring is coming, it's around the corner, and it really does brighten up your room.
Right.
As I said, the rug that I'm standing on, my wife and I have had this design for 5 to 6 years, and only because we had it in our study before and we never used the study, so we decided, you know what, why should the study get all the bright, beautiful colors? Let's bring it into the family room. And it's been here through winter, through fall, through summer, through spring, year upon year after year, and we don't want to change it. And even when we finally decide to redo our furniture and redo our paint, this rug can stay because 61 colors means we know whatever we do is going to work with this palette.
61. Normally it's like 30. I mean, we worked together for a long time. And it's 30, 35, 40, like 61 colors is amazing. And by the way, as 400 of these have been spoken for today in this show alone, if you want the big guy, there's 150 remaining. 400 ordered, 150 remaining in the big guy. But how can you make them three-dimensional, right? Those 61 colors three-dimensional. You do it with a hand carving, and I had the opportunity to try that out. I've not been asked to return to that task. This is some of that carving. There's no machine way to do that, Dustin.
No, not at all, Rick. And you know how fast and how sharp these scissors are. They're very quick. Not allowed to make a mistake. It goes on the honorary Rick Domeyer training pile if you zip through one of those flowers. And on the bold watercolors design, it's not as much of this kind of carving, but even on a gigantic flower, the carving adds so much depth, so much dimension. It really does enhance our design beyond all the colors that we put in.
I mean, if you looked at the steps of it, I have it all on tape somewhere at home. I mean, the wool is on these piles. They have to wash it and clean it, and then they dye the individual wool. So this isn't painted on afterwards. It's dyed, then it's tufted. All of these are tufted. So an artist, you have this amazing template that you have to follow, and that's all wood. It's not a painting. It's not just going through a machine, banging them out. And then after that, the carving comes in. So they take away after it's been done. The backing, it's just a masterpiece of old school creation that you can now have in your home. It's a big deal. I'm telling you, this pattern, now this is my producer Chunky, he's awesome. He's telling me that the 5x7 is the one that they're going for. 5x7 and the 2x3. Actually, the 8x11, so these here. So you know what? the reason I can just see this right now to brighten up a kitchen. I mean, we've got it in a kitchen-esque kind of area. Dustin,